Hi and welcome. My name is herbalist Alicia Antoinette, and so today is going to be the first video for this channel. And so I'm a herbalist and I'm studying natural medicine at the moment, and I've found some really good information that I feel is worthy of sharing and getting out there. And I think it'll help me also just better understand the field that I'm going into, because the more research that I do and the more I talk about it and help others, then it will just help, solidify the education that I'm getting. And so I wanted to hop on today, and today's topic is going to be about the benefits of water fasting and kind of like cracking the benefits. What is the code for a good water fast? So I am going to read from my tablet here because I want the video to talk about a specific topic. I don't want to go all over the place with information. I kind of want to keep it, and so that way, if I do end up blending things, I want to at least try and keep it relatively, on topic. So there have been studies done that show that water fasting has health benefits. And I'm sure if you've heard about water fasting, you've gone to the internet, you've looked. I even went as far as going to a library, where you actually get books and read literature that people have written, and meal plans or meal kind of structures that help our body to stay in line, which it's always trying to get to a center state. And so certain foods and things, but just restricting your food intake and intaking more water, there are studies that show that it has health benefits. Many times, and I can attest to this, many times it lowers the risk of chronic diseases. So I don't know if you've read my my about my channel, but by the time of my mid 30s, I was diagnosed with all these things, like high blood pressure, prediabetes, and some other female related issues. And so one of the biggest eye openers was when I went into the doctor, because I was feeling sick for about it was almost about 2 weeks. It was going on 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay, this isn't just a regular cold. I need to go in and get seen. At least maybe I need some other antibiotics or something. So I go in, and as usual, they're like, your blood pressure is high. Are you taking medicine? Yada yada. I was like, no. I'm at that time. Every time they would mention that, whenever I would go in, I'd be like, okay, I gotta work on my diet. So I would, I slowly eventually started eating healthier, but the high blood pressure was still a factor. And so, they mentioned that, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm really only here for this. And the doctor's like, well, you don't want to have a heart attack, do you? And I'm like, no, who wants to, have that? And then he was like, well, what black person don't you know that doesn't have high blood pressure? And then he laughed, a hearty laugh. It was just hilarious. And I was just like, why? And he was of color, he was black. And so that, I don't say that was the start of eye-opening experiences, but it just showed me that I have to take care of my own health, because the people that I'm supposed to be talking health with and having wellness are laughing at the fact that, our people are getting these different diseases. I also found that it stimulates something called autophagy, and I'll put up a picture of that and the definition. So basically, it's where the cells clean out the body. So there's certain cells that we have in our body that is the cleanup crew. If you've ever worked anywhere, you know how important the cleanup crew is, because if things just continue to pile on, then you have this big sloppy, just disgusting area. And so you can kind of think about that along with how that, correlates with your body, because if you don't help your body to regularly flush out, things that it has drawn out that are toxin and stuff that you're eating or environments that you're in, then your body will not activate this special function. And that's a courtesy of Cell.com. So if you want more information, or you're curious about exploring more of a scientific side about cells and things, check out Cell.com. So not to mention, and I don't want to say, you have to do it between this time and that time, and it's not good. You have to find your balance with it. So in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, I don't think it's meant to go excessively long on just water. Now, if you do water and herbs, because you kind of have to give your body help. It can't do it all on its own. So there are certain things that are here, which are herbs, that you can take that aid your body's, different areas of your body. So there's herbs, that you can help to support your liver, your pancreas, your gallbladder, your entire digestive system. That's one topic that I'm really going to dive into, because it's really sad how a person doesn't realize and understand their digestive system. And you see it with how people eat. So I'm guilty of that too. I had the traditional American diet. That's what I grew up around. And so naturally, I ate that stuff. But as I got older, I'm getting, these different ailments or symptoms, things like that. Yeah. So that's, let's see. So I wrote, not meant to go excessively long, but a carefully planned water fast helps to reset certain biological processes and reinvigorate well-being. And there's different types of water fasting. So the types of water fasting that I would suggest starting with, if you're on the fence, if you're like, I kind of want to try it just to see, because I've tried, because you get to this point where you're like, I've tried everything else. I've tried everything else. Like, I've grown up through the whole time of all the diet fads. So like I've seen, and, being in this society, and like, okay, well, I have to somehow like not get too grossly out of proportion, right? But there's a whole nother, like, it's more deeper than that, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So types of water fasting to start with, I would recommend are intermittent fasting, which is the 16-8. So because it gives your natural human growth hormone time to aid in the healing of the body. And so if your body is just taking water and herbs, then that's just going to boost everything and help you really scrub out all the acid residue that's inside of you. Because I know some people will they'll be vegetarian, but they'll once in a while, they'll have eggs, or they'll have cheese, or they'll have milk. And so that type of protein is pretty large. Like, our body is not designed to break it down properly. But that's not to say, oh, you can't eat meat. I mean, hey, there's people that, oh. There's people that, I lost my track of thought. There's people that, that, you know, they're okay with the idea of still eating those things. Maybe because they're processed, I don't know, but that's even not so good. And you know, it is a struggle because living in the society of convenience and not having to necessarily make everything raw or from scratch, like that for me was a challenge to really navigate to food that is living rather than food that is made, like that's dead, I guess you can say, or not naturally growing from the earth. And so although fasting is usually demonstrated in like religious practices or health benefits, like, you know, losing weight, it really helps. Well, you know, hopefully, you know, we'll have to see after some years, right? But it says it slows aging and it improves cycle recycling. And so you can also find information on cell.com about cell recycling. They have a few articles. You can just type that in and search for it. I will also, there's a link to a John Hopkins health review that has some pretty good information. You know, I want to help aid in your discovery of this information and not, you know, hey, this is how it has to be done. So there's a little snippet that I pulled out from an article, and it says, according to research conducted by neuroscientist Mark Mattson and others, cutting your energy intake by fasting several days a week might help your brain ward off neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, while at the same time improving memory and mood. And so when I think about that, you know, because I had a grandparent that had experienced neurodegenerative diseases, or neurodegenerative disease, and just that alone, you know, helping your brain is very, very important. With my a previous employment that I had, I did have to see elderly people in those nursing homes or in those well, they have them more like a little community, which is cute. That it's a cute idea, but it's just it's sad because they're all just kind of sitting, like they're all just kind of sitting there after a while. Like it seems like the younger ones, I guess you can say, like when they kind of first get there, they're like, you know, oh, you know, having all, you know, little friendships and things, but like I don't know, it just seems like a sadder way, like, oh, just put all of the old people over there and they're having to take all of these medicines, you know, half the time you're trying to have a conversation and they can't seem to focus, you know. It's just seeing it, and I'm sure, you know, people in the audience have seen it as well, you know, either friends or just in general, and so yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that. You know, you gotta plan forward. And I just learned this today, you know, you have to plan forward and not have a backup plan, because whenever you rely on a backup plan, that derails you from your actual goal. So being more proactive in my health was a key thing for me. And so I hope I helped you today. So I've included links to some of the articles that I mentioned or that I kind of pulled from today to help bring some information out. And so I started a water fast. It's been 4 days ago, but I actually I had to break it like 2 days in. I had got, if you've done research, on the keto diet and water fasting, you'll find some similar information as far as like what they call it, like a keto flu or like the keto sickness. And I got a bit of a cold, so I was like, you know what, I need to actually eat. Like I need to eat just clean. So I was really only eating kale and onions, and then there's an ancient grain that I eat as well. I don't know if I'm gonna really do like a cooking section on my channel because there's so many cooking shows out there, but if I do eventually get into a space where I have the kitchen accessibility to do that, then I will. But the beginning of my channel, it's going to be a lot of information that I found, and then helping to connect certain things, for people, because, people deserve to have a happy life. And so if I can help in that, help alleviate that illness or that symptom that you're going through, that's why I'm going into the field that I am. So I will talk and discuss with you guys next time. Have a good night.